Hey Stampers, happy Stamping New Year's! It's celebration time, our favorite time of the year when everyone gets free stamps for each $50 or $100 order. It's also the launch of our January through June mini catalog, and I'll be sharing a lot of fun items today from this catalog. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome! My name is Gloria, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I invite you to hit that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner so you'll know when I post my next class. In this class, I'll be sharing an elegant quick card and fast fun folds with bright colors that brings the spring season and positive energy to anyone who opens your card. Also, keep watching to learn to customize your punches to create mats for your sayings. I also have an announcement about an upcoming sale that you won't want to miss, so please keep watching to catch that. If you're newer to stamping, what is a Z-fold card? Here is a piece of cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 11. In the Z-fold card, you fold the card in half, and then you take the front flap and you fold the end back to the fold line. So you end up with something that looks like this. And this is the first card. We're going to take this front flap and just cut it off a little bit higher than the middle section. So here are the dimensions for our first card. In the first variation, we are going to take a piece of Balmy blue cardstock. That's 4 1/4 by 8 inches, and just score it 5 1/2 inches in from the end. Now in the sample card that I made, I went ahead and kept it simple, but this time for fun, I'm going to use the Scripty 3D embossing folder. We're going to take that Scripty 3D embossing folder, and here's a fun tip. Because we have various ways to layer our big shot and use our plates, I just take a Post-it and put the notes on the Post-it and put it right on the embossing folder so I can remember how to do that. So in this one, we are going to just emboss the top flap. You're going to open the embossing folder with the Stampin' Up! Label facing you and just simply insert that top flap. And I like to use the black line on the side to make sure it's straight. Make sure that you have the top of the pattern going all the way to the fold. So if you were to do this, you would have a little bit of section that is not embossed here at the top. So you want to scoot your fold line down to the start of the pattern. Then we're going to sandwich this using our platform with the tabs. You place that on the platform, making sure that's flush to the edges, and then place your purple plate on top of that. There is no base plate in this one, and then you just run it through your big shot. When you're done, you end up with a beautiful embossed flap. Next, we're going to cut some of the layers before we assemble the card together. I want to use our layering circles dies. It's a fantastic set with both scallop shapes and straight circles, or regular circles I should say. And what's nice is that one nests within the other, so you can use them for layering and mats and so forth. I'm going to use the 2 1/8 inch circle from edge to edge in diameter, and also the 2 1/2 inch scallop circle from that set. Place that on the magnetic platform with a base clear plate on the bottom. Put the second acrylic plate on top and send it through the big shot. And lastly, we want to work on our banners for this card. We're going to take a piece of the very gorgeous designer paper that's part of the Berry Blessings bundle. It's one of the free items in Sale-A-Bration. But let me show you what those papers look like. They're gorgeous, bright, fun, and fresh for the spring. I'll kind of pan that through so you can see what those designer papers look like. So we're going to use the one with the berries on it. And if you want to, you can actually flip it over and just put a dot in the center. I eyeball a dot there so that you know where you're cutting to. Take a pair of our stamping snips, and I'm going to place the tip of my stamping snips right on that dot. And I love these stamping snips because they are sharp and they will cut all the way to the very end. Once I've done that, I'm going to go in from the edge now and cut from the corner to that dot. And again, my whole goal is to place the tip right to the dot. Same thing from this corner to that end, place the tip to the dot. And when you're done, you have this really cool banner. Look, we're going to do the same on a piece of Pacific Point cardstock. We're going to use the Berry Blessings stamp set, which is one of the free items in the Sale-A-Bration catalog. There's a bundle, so the free bundle is for orders $100 or more. You get the stamp set and also the designer papers here. First thing I always do is to look at the stamps and ask myself if there's foam or no foam. There's no foam on these. They're clear or, they're photopolymer. So I'm going to need to bring in my mat. This is our deluxe foam mat that we use for the Stamparatus. And what I love about this is, first of all, it's laminated. So if you get stray ink on there, you can just wipe it off. Also, I love having the grid to help me line things up, and you can use this. It's designed to be used within your Stamparatus. So that's your deluxe mat. We're going to take the circle that we cut out. These are the two parts that came out of the Big Shot, by the way. We're going to set the circle down, and we're going to start by stamping the leaf. We're using Granny Apple Green. We're going to tap, tap, tap. And I want to angle it so that I've got most of this bottom leaf on the circle and some leaves at the top too. So I'm just going to angle it. Stamp 1, 2, 3. There we are. Now you notice I have some stray ink. Guess what? You can take a chamois cloth that we have and just wipe it right off. Isn't that handy? All right. I just do that so I don't have stray ink that I pick up. Next, we want to add some berries. And this is a two-step stamping set, which means that there's an outline stamp that you can do in one color, and then these stamps do all the work for you. You can use another ink color to do the inside part of the image. And let me show you what that means. I'm going to use Pacific Point to do the berries. So the nice thing about photopolymer stamps is you can see right through them. So I'm just going to set that, about there. Stamp 1, 2, 3, lift straight up. There are my berries. And then I can use the second part of that image, which is the inside part of the berries. I'm using that in Balmy Blue. And again, you can see right through. Line it up and give it a stamp. I'm going to let that dry for just a second. And then I want to add some bling. With my Wink of Stella, I want to make some nice shimmery berries. So darling. Lastly, I want to stamp the inside part of the card. I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock, and I'm borrowing this time the Thank You for Your Kindness from another stamp set that we have in the new catalog. It's called Dragonfly Garden, and I'll be using that later on, but I want to use that saying. I'm going to use it in Real Red, and we can just pull off one of our, actually let me clean this first. So to clean it, I use my well-loved chamois cloth, and and stamp with just water, and there you go, you're done with that. I take that off, put it back in the case so I don't lose it, and then we can load up the Thank You for Your Kindness. Now, again, I always ask myself, foam or no foam? You see this one has foam in it, so do please remove the foam pad before you do this next step. I'm going to use our Real Red ink pad. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap. This time I want to stamp it in the lower corner. That says Thank You for Your Kindness. All right, we're ready to put this card together. We're going to start with the card base with the beautifully embossed top part. And we're going to adhere the banner, berry banner, to the top part. Now, the only tip I will give is to make sure that you do not put tape on the bottom part of the banner because that will stick and close your card. So, the easy way to prevent that from happening is to take your favorite adhesive, I'm just going to use tape, and put it right here along the edge. And then you proceed to tape just the very top part of the banner on the back side and just a small bit on either side along the edge. So we also have great tape. There you go. It looks like this when you're done. And then we will simply take and place on our card. I want it maybe about 1/2 inch or so from the edge. Very nice. And let's just check and make sure that the banner does not cover up our saying. Perfect. Let's see. It looks like I need to move it up just a hair. So before it sticks too long, you want to go ahead and move it up just a little bit to make sure that it clears the saying. So when you go to stamp your saying, stamp it towards the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and put your favorite adhesive on the back. We're going to open that up and tape it to the center so that we can use it to eyeball the rest of our design. You notice I leave a little border around the edge. All right, next we're going to put some adhesive on the Pacific Point strip. Now, it's kind of narrow, so if you're using something like this, if you're using tape like mine, what I do is I line up the edge along one side, and anything that is oozing over, I just fold back on itself. If you're using one of our wonderful tape runners, you can do that. You can put the adhesive on the back on our silicone mat, and then it will not stick to anything you don't want it to. All right, now I'm going to line up the Pacific Point strip to the top and then also leave, about 1/4 inch from the edge of the other banner. Lastly, I'm going to tape the berries on top of the Saffron circle to layer that. So just center it. Can you see the shimmer now from the Wink of Stella? All right, and then lastly, we are going to place this on our card towards the edge. Now, you notice that part of my circle is off the flap. So same thing, we're going to use dimensionals this time to attach that. But to keep myself from accidentally putting tape where, or putting this where it doesn't need to go, I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I want it to go and put one right along the edge at around 3 o'clock. Now I know I can put my other ones at about 12 o'clock and about 10 or 11 o'clock. And that will be more than enough to hold that into place. These are two-sided, so take the lids off and then attach it to your card. Of course, I do love bling, and to highlight the image, I want to add a little bit of rhinestone. I'm just going to grab my clear rhinestones today, and using my Tick-a-Pick tool. There's two ends. One is a pointy end and one is the paddle end. So I have the paddle end loaded up right now. So I'm just going to scoop it off and put one about here. And I place them on the card, but I don't press them down until I know I'm completely happy with them. So I always do press down first and then get either the pointy end or the paddle end underneath it. There we go. And then I want to put one to highlight the saying. So I press, scoop underneath, and then we park it next to the saying. And you can use that to reposition it. Give it a little press. Our next card uses the Hydrangea Hill set. And I think most of my local stampers, the guys and gals who come to my class, would describe my style as simply elegant, and certainly that describes this card. It's so easy to accomplish that look with these beautiful designer papers. check these out. I love the colors. They just scream spring and fresh and beautiful. So this is the one that we're going to use today. And here are the dimensions for the card. You're just going to measure up from the bottom and cut a small piece, the 4 by 5.5 piece with this design at the bottom. We're going to start with the card itself, and we are pairing this one with another free set that is just gorgeous. Sometimes you need a set that has these sayings. So this set is called Heal Your Heart. It says, we're in this together. I can't promise to always fix your problems, but I can promise you won't ever face them alone. Sorry for your loss. I don't know what I would do without you. Wishing I could heal your heart, and thank you. We're going to take this beautifully scripted thank you in our Night of Navy pad. Again, I look foam or no foam. There is foam, so I can just stamp straight on the table itself. And we're just going to tap, tap, tap. And stamp straight down, count 1, 2, 3, and lift straight up. So that in itself is gorgeous, but we're going to add a little bit of extra elegance to it. We are going to emboss this stamped piece with our Textiles embossing folder. To layer this, you're going to take the Textiles embossing folder, and again, look for the Stampin' Up label. I like to have my lines going vertically, so just place that inside. You'll place the embossing folder directly on the platform with tab 1, and then lay your acrylic plate on top and send it through. When you're all done, you have a very beautifully textured but subtle touch to that piece. Now we're simply going to layer that all together. Our card base is just white cardstock that we've cut to the dimensions that I indicated. You fold it in half, and we're just going to adhere this onto the white cardstock. And then I love having and picking another color from that designer paper and matting it behind the white. So that really brings the card together. So I'm going to take that and layer that on top of the white. And this could look good just as a card unto itself. Oops. Hold on here, let me get that on straight. It's harder when I'm looking from behind the camera. Let's see. There we go. And then you can pick any color from here. So it would look good with blues, with the petal pink, or even any of the purples. So it would look great with the blue background, with the petal pink background mood. But today I'm pairing it with our Perfect Posy as the matte color. And then I want to continue adding a little bit of bling to it. The suite comes with some lovely pearls that coordinate with the colors. But if you don't have those yet, mine are still on its way here. You can also use our regular pearls along with any of our blendabilities. So I went ahead and grabbed my dark Highland Heather and my Just Jade. And you can actually color on those pearls. I like to use the brush end. So pick a white one. You can use the blendabilities because they are permanent. Can add a little color. So here's are my Highland Heather ones. I did some petal pink, and then those are my jade ones. Pick your favorite colors. And we're going to add those to our card. So I'm going to pick one of the Highland Heather ones. And scoop it up and place one on here. And then I think I'm going to pick one of the jade ones just for fun to pick up the green. I'm going to use a smaller one. Oop, he flipped over. And I'm going to put it up about here. Give it a nice press. So elegant. Lastly, I'm going to use the punch from Dragonfly Garden. And I'm just simply going to use our silver foil to punch one of the little dragonflies out. I love dragonflies. And we're just going to attach him to the card with one of the little mini dimensionals. Take one off. One will fit just on his back and be hidden. And you can decide if you like your dragonfly flying downwards or upwards. So I'll let you decide. So here are two versions of that card. Oh, by the way, love my Wink of Stella. I want to go ahead and add some color add some bling to my flowers. So on the designer paper itself, I'm just coloring so carefully. And then when you rotate it, you can see the color and shimmer. So which do you like better? Do you like the dragonfly flying upwards or downwards with the designer paper flat or with the textiles? Lots of fun variations. A quick, easy, elegant card using our Hydrangea Hill suite, the Heal Your Heart free Sale-A-Bration stamp set, and also the little dragonfly punch from Dragonfly Garden. Our final Z-fold variation is a little more familiar, but we're using some really, really cool new items. Have you seen the rainbow glimmer paper in our big catalog? So gorgeous. We're going to be playing with our rainbow glimmer paper and also our Dandy Garden laser cut papers. Now what's cool about that, of course, is you can take this and layer it on top of that rainbow paper, add your saying, and you're good to go. You can also use these as stencils to sponge through using our new blender brushes, either using a solid color or multicolors, and add your own saying. You can, of course, cut apart some of these dragonflies or punch some out and add them to what's already here. And know that you can also change the colors of these by sponging on top of it as well. So lots of different ways to use these beautiful laser cut cutouts. Today, I'm going to use this one. And we are pairing it with our Dragonfly Garden bundle, which includes the stamp set and the Dragonfly punch, which you've already seen me use. Whoops. And our Dragonfly punch. To make this card, we're going to use these dimensions and more beautiful, bright spring colors. Our card base is just going to be Pool Party. So here's our standard card. We take the front flap, and this time, instead of folding it back, we're going to fold it inwards to the fold. That's going to be our base card. We're going to cut a piece of glimmer cardstock, the rainbow glimmer cardstock, but in the dimensions here, you notice I cut it to 3.5 to 5 1/4 because I'm actually going to cut off a little bit of the yellow. I wanted to get a little of the purple at the top. So you're going to cut a piece that's slightly larger and then just cut off 1/4 inch at the bottom so we get a little purple. To do that, of course, we're just going to use the paper trimmer. So you simply take our piece of glimmer cardstock, place it in here, and the resulting one should be 3.5 by 5. So it's kind of a note card size. And cut it off. You could save this for something else. I always do. You know me and scraps. All right. We're going to punch our other elements as well before we put the card together. Using our Night of Navy cardstock, we want to punch out 2 small dragonflies. It's a great way to use your scraps too, doing these punches. Next, we're going to work on our saying, and we're using 2 other punches for this. We are using the May good things grow all year long in Night of Navy. So we're going to go ahead and take the saying, ink it up, and stamp it on a scrap paper. Take the Label Me Fancy punch, insert it, center it, and punch it out. Now I want to have a Night of Navy piece to mat with it. So I'm going to use the Label Me Lovely punch, and they were kind of sold as a pair before, and punch that out. But I don't want to have a piece that's quite this big, so I want to show you a fun trick. We can change the shape of this resulting one. It does pair beautifully if you want this big of a piece. But check this out. I can actually take my scissors and run the blade from tip to tip and change the shape. So I'm going to take it and take the blade. There we go. And same thing on this side. I can take it. Isn't that cute? So now you have a nice matte shape that's not quite as large as before. You'll tape those two pieces together. And now let's work on our Dragonfly. We're going to stamp him in Night of Navy. And we have two beautiful dragonflies. Tap, tap, tap. Stamp him 1, 2, 3, and lift. And then we're going to punch him out with the large dragonfly punch. So you just center him in and give it a punch. It's a 2-for-1 punch. You get another dragonfly along the way. Now this stamp set has a 2-step again where you can color in, add some color to his wings. Know that this one does not fill the wing fully. It's just meant to add a hint of color, but it will not match the wings perfectly. So for this one, I actually wanted to add some fun color that goes along with my rainbow glimmer paper. So I'm bringing in Magenta Madness and Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to use my Wink of Stella with it. So I never want to, now in the old days you could squeeze the ink pad and get some color on there, but now that doesn't work. So you never want to put any pens or anything on the surface directly because it might ruin your ink pad. So what I'm going to do is to take my block that I was just using and just touch the corner. See how I picked that ink up? You can use an old CD, you can use wax paper, you can pick up the colors anywhere. I'm going to do the same thing with the Gorgeous Grape on the opposite corner. There we go. We have two colors, a little instant ink palette. And now I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. I'm just going to use that as my scratch paper here. And I'm going to pick up some pink. Now notice when you first pick it up and you color, it's going to be very, very dark. I don't want it to be quite that dark. So I want to get rid of some of the color and then just use a lighter hand towards the center. So I'm going to get rid of some color and then use a lighter hand. Just adding a little pink along the edge. So each time I want to lighten it up before I put it on my dragonfly. And it doesn't take very long at all. And just add some color, and of course as you continue to color it gets lighter and lighter, so it makes it kind of easy to blend. Might want to blend some outwards too, just for fun. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing. When you want to change color with your Wink of Stella, just rub it on junk paper until the color clears. Of course you're going to a darker color, it really doesn't matter. But same thing, because this is a darker color, it's really dark, so I'm going to get rid of some color. And then I'm going to start from the outer corners a little bit, so that when I go inside, it's a little lighter. So same thing, I'm going to rub off some color, start at the outer corner and work inwards towards the pink where it's lighter. And that just makes it really easy to blend. Another great benefit of using the Wink of Stella, it has built-in shimmer. So in just a second here, I'll bring it closer so you can see. The wings will have a beautiful shimmer to it. So what's nice is you can add as many different colors or shades as you want. Pick your favorite combinations. So pretty and so easy. So when you're done, here's your dragonfly. All right, we're ready to put this card together. Oh, we have to do one more saying. The cheers to you is going to be stamped on a 1/2-inch strip, and I have tons and tons of the 1/2-inch strips left over from when I cut my white cardstock. So we're going to use cheers to you. The cheers to you comes from Itty Bitty Birthdays, which is another great set. Let's see, where did I put it? Here it is. It has lots of sayings for the inside and outside of your card. And this one can be found in the big catalog, Itty Bitty Birthdays. I use it a lot. I love the awesome at any age. We are taking the cheers to you saying, inking that up in our Night of Navy, and stamp it along the right edge. We're going to just be very organic with this one. We're going to take it and just cut it at an angle with our scissors. And then we're going to take a strip of our Night of Navy. That's about 1/2 inch long. And we're just going to adhere the cheers to you to this strip. And I'm just doing any old size strip, eyeballing it, and then cutting it at the end. So I put it like that, and then I want to cut it the same angle. We are going to adhere this beautiful laser cut to our rainbow glimmer paper, and you can adhere it with glue dots. You can use our Tombow adhesive. I'm not very patient, so a lot of times I'll use glue dots just because then I don't have to wait for them to dry. To use the glue dots, let me put it on here so you can see better. I turn this over, and you don't need adhesive all over the whole thing. I'm going to take and look for the parts of this design that have bigger places for me to put glue dots or hide glue dots. I will fold them in half and put one at just a couple key spots. And that will be, they're very strong, so I taco or fold it in half. So we're just folding them over, putting them on the four corners. When you're all done, I just have a couple adhesives around. And we're going to center that on top of our rainbow glimmer paper, leaving a little border on all four sides. All right, we're going to use adhesive to place in our card. Now the card is going to open up like this. So we only want adhesive on the bottom panel. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and take a bigger piece of adhesive and place it in the center. I'm not going to put anything at the top. And then I'm going to do a U shape at the bottom along the two edges and the very bottom piece. So here's my U shape of adhesive. Now we're going to center that on top. And then add our cheers to you. This one I'm going to put with dimensionals so that there's a little bit of lift to it to put our saying on the front of the card. And I like cheers to you because that could be a congratulations, it could be a hello, it could be, you know, get well soon, a lot of different sayings. Can have a lot of different uses there. So I'm going to put the cheers to you right here along the edge towards the bottom. And it's popped off. Then we're going to go back to those little dragonflies. We're going to put the navy ones on first. And then you just simply put your dragonflies on. One flying upwards. And one flying downwards. So pretty. All right. For the inside of the card, we're going to layer our saying from the 2 punches together with your favorite adhesive. Now here's the tricky part. This is going to be our stop, or the thing that allows us to raise the card, like so. So we do want to put extra Stampin' Dimensionals on this. So I'm actually going to be really prolific and use 6 of them, which is a lot for this little piece. Stand up this way. Here. If you want to stand up here more, you would put it towards the center, or if you want it to be more not standing quite as tall, I think I'm going to leave it about here. So about midway, like an inch from the bottom. So when you gift this, it has this beautiful bling, and your card will stand up. So cute, so easy and beautiful because of all the pieces that are included in this suite. I'm going to take the dragonfly and just very, very gently, I hold the center of his body and go up and over. So just to give it a gentle curve. I'm not bending it, but I'm just curving it up and over. Here's a side view of what that looks like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put his body down with a few glue dots. Just along the center of his body. And then here's a little trick. In order for him to not end up totally flat, we're going to take some Stampin', just one Stampin' Dimensional, and where that curve was, we're going to put under his wing, but not take off the second part, so it doesn't have to stick down. Does that make sense? So here we put the Stampin' Dimensional, but the lids are still on. So his little body will hold on. But even when it's smashed flat for shipping, you notice it retains a little bit of lift there. I hope you enjoyed seeing many of the new catalog goodies in action. If you need any supplies and don't already have a demonstrator, please shop on my website and use the Hostess code shown. In our next class, I'll be showing another new Fast Z Funfold variation using our darling donkeys, which you can get for free right now during Sale-A-Bration. Please hit that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner to stamp and play with us when I post that class. Now, here's our surprise announcement. For those of you who love the Hey Chick and Hey Birthday Chick style stamps, there are going to be bundles that include dies that cut out the images and also cut out additional fun images like the chicken wire fencing here or the picket fence here that will coordinate with the stamp sets. These items and bundles will be available at 10% off when you buy them together, and they're available February 2nd. So if you love the Hey Chick or Hey Birthday Chick sets, you may want to catch those in February. Thanks so much for watching and stamping along with me. Wishing you and yours a happy 2021 filled with joy, light, new beginnings, great adventures, and good health. Cheers!